All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Waharakah, Dash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone for teaching his word in truth and sincerity, and for ruling well. Salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And this is the brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another quick lesson. Today's lesson is entitled, He's Not in Trouble Like Other Men. And it comes from Psalm 73. All right, this is Psalm 73, and yep, this is Psalm 73 and 4. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. All right, and when you look up that word trouble there in the Hebrew, the word for they are not in trouble is imal, all right? And it says to go through sorrow, grievance, labor, mischief, grievousness, toil, wearisome, wickedness. It says when you scroll down, it says i.e. toil, i.e. wearing effort, hence worry, whether of body or mind. Right? When these devils get in trouble, they're not grieved like other men. And those other men are the Israelites. Okay, when these devils get in trouble, what they're able to do, they're able to reach back to their resources. They got their hookups, their friends and family. Okay, their insider efforts, and they're able to walk away from what seemingly would be a guilty plea. Now, what inspired this lesson? I was in the middle of watching this lesson by Elder Yashawamba and his on his page, Remnant Saved 144 Ba, and the title of the video is called The Accuser. All right, and he's going into the same thing, similar to things that I'm about to go into myself. So, where it says, this is an article from the Evening Standard. It says R. Kelly branded worse predator than Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein as R&B star faces up to 100 years behind bars. Now, the question is, how can this man be worse than all these two devils when these two devils had influence and power over people such as actors, children? These two Edomites, they were what you would call lesser luminaries. They were tapped in to the whole Edomite grid. You got Jeffrey Epstein. He flying a list of so-called famous people and wealthy people onto his private island. Like Elder Yashawama said, R. Kelly might have had a house, but this nigga had a whole island. Harvey Weinstein, he basically was a super elite in Hollywood. Okay, to the point where Meryl Streep liking this, well, she called this nigga God. She said Harvey Weinstein was God. And they laughed about it. The whole time they were all into the pedophilia. They were all into the rape. They were all into the molestation. They were all into all of this wickedness, man. People couldn't get roles in Hollywood unless they went through this man. Okay, and Jeffrey Epstein, the list goes on with this guy. But yet Jake is the face of the worst predator on earth, man. And if Esau could, he would hang Jake out there in the streets so that everybody could see it. And this is an example of them not being troubled like other men. They're not worrisome. They're not grieved. Okay, they're not in a situation of worrying about their health and their freedom. But our people are, and it shows you the double standard in America, Babylon the Great. Because these people, they're not righteous people. The people that are ruling over us, they're not righteous people. They don't understand righteous judgment. They're not set up to do righteous judgment. They're set up to do wickedness, man. And this is wickedness, man. So it says right here, R. Kelly has been branded the worse than Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. How is this man worse than that? Because, Jake committed a crime and you can get a litany of people to come forward against him. But when Esau committed a crime, nobody comes forward. And then the people that do, you shut them up or kill them. Right? You ain't heard nothing about Harvey Weinstein since he got locked up and convicted, which the super elite, he probably did something wrong against them. So they just threw him a sacrificial lamb, man. right? Or sacrificial goat in their case, right? So he said this dude's worse than Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. When you look at the stuff that these people were convicted of, and then on top of the fact that they get a slap on the wrist, which you're gonna see through this lesson, it says by lawyers for some of the disgraced R&B superstars victims as he faces. Let me read that again. R. Kelly has been branded worse than Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein by a lawyer for some of the disgraced R&B superstar victims as he faces decades behind bars for sex trafficking. Gloria Aldridge spoke out after the I Believe I Can Fly singer was found guilty of exploiting his status to operate a coercive scheme to sexually abuse women and children over years. The jury convicted a 54-year-old of all charges he was facing. Now, when I skipped down, it said this is Gloria Aldridge, this Edomite. She's an opportunist. She's an opportunist leech. You know, whenever there's somebody that's got a case against a superstar, here come this Edomite just jumping up, trying to get a check. It says, I think I'm even more disappointed the government brought the case in the first. Oh, this is the Slocky. This is the defense lawyer. I'm trying to figure out what Gloria said. Yep, she says right here, I've been practicing law for 47 years. During this time, I have pursued many sexual predators who have committed crimes against women and children. Of all the predators that I've pursued, however, Mr. R. Kelly is the worst, she said. You see? Because of the things that come out. But when you come to Jeffrey, let's look at some of the things that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of. Because he got a slap on the wrist. And I typed it on the Google, what was Jeffrey Epstein accused of? And it says procuring child prostitution. Epstein pled guilty and was convicted in 2008, right? But then, like recently, a couple years ago, he got dragged back out, and then all the super elite started getting pulled out in it. So they were messing with him even after the fact, before and after the fact, man, including Trump. It says so. This dude, he was accused of procuring a child for prostitution, right? It says criminal charges, procuring an underage girl for prostitution, sex trafficking. What was his penalty? 13 months with work release. You see? So this dude got a slap on the wrist with work release, right? But this dude, R. Kelly, hey, this nigga facing 100 years. And he gonna get all them years. And then when you scroll down, it said that when I was reading, it says Kelly, whose real name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, will be sentenced in May and faces up to 100 years behind bars, 20 years for racketeering, and 10 years for each of the sex trafficking convictions, man. You see? That shit is unbelievable. This is Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, that write grievousness which they have prescribed, that they to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right of the poor of my people, that the widow may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless, man. So this is an unrighteous decree, because if he really did all of this, let's say he really was, raping people, going crazy, hey, you should just put this man to death, man, because he's not going to live 100 years. He's already 54 years old and bad health. So you just might as well just put him out of his misery. But instead, they'll charge him with a litany of crimes. They straight up defame this dude, throw him under the bus, and they give him 100,000 years, man. That's grievousness, man. You prescribe grievousness. So the scripture says, woe unto you that decree unrighteous decrees, man. And this is an unrighteous decree because this guy, he was able to kill himself in prison, in jail, so they say, and just go away into the sunset, man. You don't even know if this dude's really gone. So when you scroll down, right, to this is on Wikipedia, it says let's look at this. It says Epstein pleaded guilty and was convicted in 2008 by a Florida state court of procuring a child for prostitution and soliciting a prostitute. He served almost 13 months in custody, but with extensive work release. He was convicted of only these two crimes as part of a controversial plea deal. The federal officials had identified 36 girls, some as young as 14 years old, whom Epstein had allegedly sexually abused. Now and again, this is not. Let me give a caveat. We're not defending R. Kelly. We're just showing you the disparities in the so-called justice system. Okay, because R. Kelly was a bum. He was broke. He ain't had no money. He ain't had no real influence. So he didn't get he didn't get the A1 treatment this devil got. Okay, so the dude was only convicted of a 2008 situation. So since he served 13 months in custody, but with extensive work release, man, he was convicted of only these two crimes as part of a controversial plea deal. Federal officials had identified 36 girls, some as young as 14 years old, whom Epstein had allegedly sexually abused. Epstein was arrested again in 2019 on federal charges of sex trafficking of minors in Florida and in New York. He died in his jail cell August 10th, 2019. So the dude, he was in jail for a month, and he didn't get to go through the whole litany of the judicial system. He didn't have to go through the gauntlet like that. He was able to get out by so-called suicide, which either that was fake, he walked away, or they got him up out of here because the devil knew too much, man. And he could have brought the whole world of the Edomites down, including Prince Andrew. You know, they probably assassinated this dude, man. It said he died in his jail cell on August 10th. The medical examiner ruled the death a suicide. Epstein lawyers have disputed the ruling, and there has been significant public skepticism about the true cause of his death. Since the death precluded the possibility of pursuing criminal charges, a judge dismissed all criminal charges. So all criminal charges was dismissed. Epstein had a decades-long association with his girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who faces persistent allegations of procuring sexual trafficking underage girls for Epstein, which led to her arrest in July 2020. Epstein also maintained long-term relationship with various high-profile individuals, including Donald Trump, Leslie Waxner, okay, American billionaire businessman, and Prince Andrew, and many more, man, and many more. So this dude get to do all kinds of wickedness and evil, and he been doing this shit for a long time, like Wellington since the 80s. He's been doing this kind of shit with the guise of financial a financial sector job, man. Right? So this dude, uh, he got away with basically murder, man. he got away with it. But yet you hang this dude, man. Why? Because this man is not in trouble like other men. When you read some of the stuff that happened in 2006 and 8, this dude was living he had a sweetheart deal. It says Epstein agreed and pleaded guilty in Florida state court to 2 felony prostitution charges, served 18 months in prison, registered as a sex offender, and pay restitution to 3 dozen victims identified by the FBI. The plea deal was later described as a sweetheart deal. Federal judge later found that the prosecutors had violated the victims' rights and that they had concealed the agreement from the victims and instead urged them to have patience. You see? You see? So this dude get a sweetheart deal, man. You know? The whole time, though, you hanging it, but this dude's worse. How is Robert Kelly worse than this guy? How is this dude worse than this guy, man? You know, if equity and equality was a thing, you know? It says reactions. The immunity agreement and his lenient treatment were the subject of an ongoing public dispute. The Palm Beach police chief accused the state of giving him preferential treatment. Why? Because he's not in trouble like other men. The Edomites don't go through what we go through down here, man. Our people catch hell. But it's okay because the Lord is going to give you Edomites, the exact judgment you're supposed to get. And ain't no prisons in the kingdom of heaven, man. Ain't going to be no prison house. The whole earth's going to be a prison to you devils and you heathen nations, man. Because you're going to get it. It says, they are not in trouble as, this is back in Psalm 73 and 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment. Okay? Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than their heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung to them. Right. So these devils, they'll die, you know, and they'll come back in their wealth. But our people, we die, we just come back in more oppression, man. Okay, and if you didn't have any understanding or wisdom, you would get upset, you would get angry. But in reality, the Lord got these devils on a slippery slope, and all the elite, all these Edomites, starting with their super elite, they're going to get the true judgment that they really deserve, man. Okay, it says as they say, how doth the Most High know, and is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches, right? Because R. Kelly, he just got the deal that all these sellout niggas get, right? When the devil stop using you for whatever purposes, okay, he'll throw you out to the wolves, right? He'll throw you out to the wolves, and you won't understand it, okay? Because these devils got more than their heart could wish for. They prosper in the world, and they increase in riches. It'll have you thinking that, man, well, being wicked is the way. It's not. Because ultimately, their judgment is going to be worse than their enjoyment in this world, man. You see? And R. Kelly didn't know that. Simple nigga like this nigga, you know, he just wanted the short-term goal, all right? World famous, writing records and shit. But Esau, he was shooting for the long term, but either way, he's going to be destroyed too. Verily, I've cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocence. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me, until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High. Then understood I their end. Surely thou didst set them in the slippery places. Thou casted them down into destruction. Right. And so you Edomites, you're going to be casted down into destruction. Right. You can't cheat the Most High. You can't cheat Yahweh Shema Shai. You're not going to get no sweetheart deal with Yahweh Shema Shai. You're going to get the full brunt of judgment without any mercy. Okay? You devils, you Edomites, you're going to be in trouble like us, like we are on this side, but worse. In the kingdom of heaven, you're going to be troubled like other men. All right? Because of the grievousness which you prescribe. Okay? Going back to Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. And that's right, all the decrees that Esau decrees here, they're very unrighteous, man. When you look up that word for decrees, the Hebrew word there is hakwak, and it says a decree, inscribed, set, engraved, a lawgiver. So the governors, yep. So you Edomites, you decree nothing but unrighteous decrees, man. And Jeffrey Epstein, not the first wealthy or so-called elite person to get caught up in some wild shit like this and get a slap on a wrist. Here it is, you got the judge said the DuPont heir will not fare well in prison. A Superior Court judge who sentenced a wealthy DuPont heir to probation for raping his 3-year-old daughter noted in her order that he will not fare well in prison and needed treatment instead of time behind bars. Right? But if that was a Jake that was thrown in, she would have gave him the maximum of penalty, man. But because he's an Edomite, he's well connected in the state of Delaware. Okay, his family is well connected. Y'all gave him a slap on the wrist. Judge Jan Jordan sent this shows you that you Edomites are not suitable for judgment, man. You rush judgment, man. Let me get that. You rush judgment, man. This is Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 19. Deuteronomy 16 and 19. Deuteronomy 16 and 19. Okay. Yep. And this is a law. Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift, for a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous, man. You see? So the Lord told us when he set these laws, statutes, commandments up, that we're not supposed to wrest judgment and have no and shall not have respect of persons, just like the Most High Yahweh Shalom Shai does not wrest judgment, nor does he have respect of persons, man. When you look up that word for rest, that word there is natah in the Hebrew. It says to stretch out, to extend, to spread out, to pervert, to bend. And that's what this Judge Jan Jordans, she bent the law for this dude. When in reality, he should have been put to death. But in this world, they'll put you in prison for a certain amount of time. But he didn't even get that. It says Judge Jan Jordan's sentence order for Robert H. Richards IV suggests that she consider a unique circumstance when deciding his punishment for the 4th-degree rape. Her observation that the prison life would adversely affect Richards was a rare and puzzling rationale. Several criminal justice authorities in Delaware said. Some also said her view that treatment was a better idea. Was a better idea than prison is a justification typically used when sentenced drug addicts, not child rapists. Richard's 2009 rape case became public this month after the attorneys for his ex-wife Tracy filed a lawsuit seeking compensatory and punitive damages, right? And then it says, this is from 2019 Forbes article. It says, how a DuPont heir avoided jail time for a heinous crime. But Robert Kelly, now, among our people are the wicked, but goddamn, the wicked, they don't get nothing. Nothing really happened to them. And I ain't mentioning Harvey Weinstein, because they just threw his old ass under the bus too. He got old and tired. They got rid of this nigga, man, and made room for somebody else. But it says his lawyer calling the 6'4", roughly 300-pound Richards, this nigga, he could defend himself in prison. A somewhat gentle person argued he would not fare well in jail. Hours later, Richards walked away from the Delaware Superior Court a free man. He pleaded guilty to a charge of rape in the 4th degree, paid a fine of $4,300, and promised to attend a high-end treatment center in Massachusetts. Judge Jan Jordan, who presided over the case, had initially considered sentencing Richards to 8 years in prison. Ultimately, she gave him 8 years of probation. I have concerns about this because arguably you should be in jail for what you did, Jordan said. Now, if this nigga name was Robert Jenkins, and it was a black man, you'd have got triple those life, man. Should probably gave you life in prison, man. But this dude gets a slap on the wrist. You know what I mean? But I think, she says, during the sentencing, but I think you have significant treatment needs and have to be addressed. And you have a very strong family support. So unlike many unfortunate people, and the unfortunate people are Israelites who come before me, you are lucky in that regard. And I hope you appreciate that. Richards did have support that most convicts lack. Upon his release, he went back to living on the proceeds of a multi-million-dollar trust fund, the result of being a member of one of Delaware's most powerful families, the DuPonts. While he never worked for or had any affiliation with the DuPont company, he still benefits from the family fortune, which Forbes valued at $14.3 billion in 2016 and dates back 200 years in the state. Richards also benefited from another remarkable stroke of luck. It wasn't luck, okay? They rest judgment for this devil. The case was missed by the local press. Unlike Robert Kelly, this shit was all in the press. But because we had the other stuff going on, y'all ignored it. They even made jokes about this shit on a Boondocks TV show, right? But this dude, you ain't hear nothing about this. It wasn't no jokes on TV. It wasn't nothing. It says, and many were astonished that Richards had evaded. I'm sorry. It says Tracy Richards sued him in civil court for monetary damages caused by his crime. Suddenly, the earlier case became a national sensation, fueled by public outrage, and many were astonished that Richards had evaded jail time. Many also wondered what role his fortune played in keeping him free. A big role, because he's a huge socialite, a rich socialite, right? That's what it played, right? It said this time, however, Robert Richards failed to avoid the public eye in March. Let me see. It says then in 2014, Tracy Richards filed a claim with the Delaware Superior Court seeking monetary damages on behalf of both the couple's minor children and alleging that Robert Richards breached his duty of care for the young children. This time, however, Robert Richards failed to avoid the public eye in March 2014. Tracy had a press conference about the civil suit that earned wide coverage. Making matters worse, this self-admitted rapist and child abuser has not paid a single penny to these children for his crimes, said Thomas Crumpler, a Wilmington-based attorney who represented Tracy Richards. Crumpler stood next to the distraught Tracy Richards and her mother, Donna Berg, man. So this dude got away with it on this side. I mean, because this is what they do here, man. It's Isaiah 26:10. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In a land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord. Yahweh Shem Shai, man. And favor has been shown to this devil. Hey, he's in our land right now. And what is he doing? He's doing unrighteousness, man. He's dealing unjustly. And that's why you Edomites will never behold the majesty of the Lord, man. Because you're the devil. You're the devil, and the Most High is going to destroy you, man. You're not set up to judge. The Lord didn't give you the understanding and knowledge of wisdom, understanding to judge uprightly, man. And you dealt unjustly in a land of uprightness in Israel and throughout the whole earth, man. Okay? When you look up that word, let me see, the land of uprightness. Let me see what that says. In the land of uprightness, the land is Aratz, the earth. It says the earth. The earth. The land of Israel. So not only in the land of Israel, but the earth, you deal unjustly, man. You don't deal uprightly, man. But yet, like Elder Yashua was saying, yet we become the face of everything that's wrong with the world, man. Our people have become the face, and y'all just gloss over these Edomites as they do whatever they want, man. The Hebrew word there for unjustly is iwal. It says to act wrongfully or unjustly, to deviate, to act wrongfully, man. And that's been our story. That's been our story here in America since we've been here, man. You Edomites, you done whatever you wanted to do to us, and you get nothing but a slap on the fucking wrist, man. Hey, but the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, done slapping your wrist. He gonna take your head off, man. He gonna take you out of rulership, and he gonna put you in slavery, man. You're gonna be dealt with justly. Unlike you, we're gonna deal with you justly. But hey, ain't nothing like a righteous ass whooping, man. And you Edomites, you got it coming. Hey, so with that, Shalom, on to the next.